Welcome back to another weekly recap. We'll be recapping 2 weeks out from the Ben Weider Natural Pro-Am and setting the standards for 1 week out or peak week. As always, in the prep series videos, be covering training, nutrition, activity, all that good stuff to do with prep. In today's video, won't cover the full training split that I normally do, just with it being peak week. It'll be modified and there's a lot to cover within just peak week in general. So want to spend a majority of the video there. But just quickly want to say really appreciative for everybody that's kind of followed along with the prep series. Crazy that we're essentially 5 days out on the day of recording this from my last show of the season. And I do plan on taking quite a extended off season, just being on stage and getting paired with some really good athletes. It just came to my eye that ultimately in the sport I just need more time to develop my physique, add a little bit more shape. Honestly, it's the big thing, not so much size, which is awesome because that just gets refined with more time in the gym, get that more dense grainy muscle, just muscle maturity in general. So really looking forward to an extended off season, and definitely in these last couple of weeks, especially with traveling home, just getting the opportunity to spend time with them. It's kind of brought to my attention just how much I've given up in personal life for prep these last 9 months. Um, so just excited to get in the off season. Still going to be very structured with stuff. You guys will still get a ton of content, but excited to have a bit more flexibility to go out with a girlfriend just on the weekend or whatever pops up, travel to see family instead of taking my time off from work to travel to shows and compete and whatnot. But yeah, just a lot of gratitude at this point in prep, just 5 days out. And one thing I do want to highlight, unfortunately, just my last upper body session tweaked my hamstring, which sounds weird. Just doing a lat pull down, I had felt some tightness, and I've had some injuries in that hamstring before, so I kind of knew when it tightened up wasn't going to be good for me. And that was a day before my last full tilt leg session. Made it about halfway through my leg session, just could not finish out the last couple of items, but thankfully, being a week out from the show, we're not going to be losing any muscle there. You guys will see kind of from the posing update at the end of the video, not affecting my posing at all. So very happy with that. It'll be something we can definitely address in the off season. Make sure to get healthy, as that'll be a main priority for sure after this last show. But don't want to harp on the prep too much. We'll definitely have a lot of recap videos and whatnot going forward. So let's hop over to the last 2 weeks of diet and activity. So what you guys are seeing up on screen will be essentially peak week from the NPC Midwest Gladiators. So that's why the numbers are a bit higher in terms of calories, macros, kind of all over the place. But ultimately, this whole last week, we've kind of settled back into around 230 grams of protein, 170 to 180 carbs, and around a low 50 number for fat. And that'll come out anywhere between 2,000 to 2,100 calories. And that's what we've ran kind of the last handful of weeks of prep. And I think the conditioning's definitely came in. And then body weight technically went up by roughly a pound the last week, but not worried about that because a lot of that was just some retention, water retention, whatnot, post show. But ultimately, weight is back in the low 190s and even coming up on the lowest of prep. And then, as always, the cardio is going to stay the same, 250 calories on the elliptical, and then 8,000 plus steps or 8,000 plus steps with an 8-pound weighted vest. So we're going to hop over now to the plans for the Ben Weider Natural Pro-Am Peak Week and what we'll be doing. So we'll be running a depletion 3 days in a row. So that'll look Sunday through essentially Wednesday will be depletion days. We'll be keeping cardio all the same as we have been doing. And then from there, we're just keeping sodium and potassium at a baseline For training, it will be just a full push session at 80% on Monday, a full pull session at 80% on Tuesday, and then we'll just do a very light leg pump session, and then kind of just finishing out. Honestly, on Thursday it'll probably be my last time touching any weights, just doing an upper body pump session. Friday we get spray tan, everything done, and from there it's just going to be a lot of posing and relaxing on Friday, and then show day for Saturday will be very early in the morning. So what we'll be kind of doing for nutrition wise, and kind of peaking just on a general standpoint, doing that 3-day depletion to start out the week, and then we'll be doing a carb load Wednesday and Thursday of roughly 500 grams of carbs, and you'll see all the numbers on screen. These will be kind of tentative numbers, but ultimately on those days too, we'll be pushing up water intake about 30% higher, and then also increasing sodium and a little bit of potassium increase just from the food contents, but nothing crazy change wise there. Just want to make sure we have the sodium and potassium to aid in digestion of those carbs, keeping protein at a moderate level, and then fats kind of where they've been at with the caloric deficit, just to ensure that we don't have too much fat to slow that digestion. And then Friday is more of a tentative day, but ultimately in my prior peaks, I feel like I could have filled out a bit more. So we'll be running around 400 carbs on that Friday. Once again, tentative there, and then keeping fats pretty low. May throw in a little bit of fat if we're ultimately seeing that we're still flat on the day. And then the one kind of manipulation that we'll be doing is increasing potassium. Just potassium is a natural diuretic, so that'll help flush out some water. Not a huge change there, just a slight manipulation in food sources, mainly adding raisins and bananas to increase the potassium naturally. And I know that works for me, so definitely something to try out though prior to your show, just because messing with electrolytes can definitely have a detrimental effect. So what those kind of days of eating will look like, I'll throw up on screen for you guys, but the big thing to highlight, keeping foods in that have been using all prep, not really changing any big food sources there. So you guys will see depletion days, and then also the following days. These are just kind of the tentative plans. Once again, we will be traveling for the show on Thursday, so we'll be meal prepping a lot of those and eating those while we travel. So nothing really too big to highlight. Just once again, want to stick with those same food sources that you're accustomed to. And then really the focus is to fill out the physique, so you don't want to be running around too much once you actually start those carb loading days on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So for me, it'll be trying to stay relaxed. Obviously, you're still going to have a lot to do with check-ins, travel, just at the host hotel, so don't worry about it too much. But you don't want to be doing things like sightseeing prior to your show or going on hikes or anything crazy like that. So that highlights a lot of the stuff for peak week in general. The goal really will be to fill out on Wednesday and Thursday, and then kind of maintain that fullness through on Friday. And it will be an early show, being on the East Coast, then also pre-judging starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with me being Central Standard Time, losing another hour there. And then also I know it is a straight through format, so more than likely we'll probably be done with the show by like noon or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't see it running much longer than that. I know I covered a lot in this video in a short amount of time, so if you do have any questions on the peaking, on my training, my outlook going forward, definitely leave those down in the comment section below. The physique is looking awesome, to be honest. I'm super happy with it. Just excited for this prep to come to a close, get to stick my head in the ring with some very great competition at this show, and with it being more of an international level, because I know it brings a lot of Canadian athletes as well, looking forward to really seeing where my physique is at, and then also continuing to get more stage time and experience in the sport of bodybuilding. But with that being said, don't want to draw this video out too much. Just very thankful for you guys all watching. Definitely leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel for future prep content and the off-season content, and be on the lookout for that NPC Midwest Gladiator Show Day video coming shortly. Appreciate your patience there, and as always, have a great rest of your day. Stay fed.